All right. So let's see here. Hopefully this is going to work. I had to do a quick restart of the stream because it didn't let me share my screen because I hadn't done this before. So I'm going to just make sure I can share my screen before anybody else comes on. Let's see here. Make sure I have the right one. Go. So just bear with me here. I'm going to update the link on the page just in case it's wrong. If you've tuned in, please let me know if you're there. I see there's at least one person tuned in. Please go introduce yourself in the chat. That would be awesome. So I know who's here. I'm just updating the link on the website. So just give me a second here, and then we'll start. I had to restart the stream just because Google didn't let me share my screen. So there we go. So we'll do that. Hey, Swifties for life. How's it going? Awesome that you're here. This is cool. Okay. Now let me see if I can share a window here. I'm going to share my window that you'll see so you can see it all. Doop-a-doo. Okay. Let's do that, and let's do this, and let's do this one. Okay. So you should see there it is. The chat. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's get started here. So let me just go back to the start. Hey Taylor, how's it going? So I'm just gonna make sure that actually updated the link. There we go. And then we'll get a look at this storm that we have coming. So I'm just gonna update this link. Yeah, that's good. Okay. That's good. Save that. Okay. Hey, Island Chef. Haven't seen you for a while. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming. This is awesome. Will I be able to go to school tomorrow? I don't expect that tomorrow morning, but it's definitely going to be raining. That's for sure. So let's just go check it out here. Let me bring up the forecast model, and we'll go check this out. So let's do the wider frame guy. There we go. Oh, let's go back. Let's do a little larger than that. There we go. All right. So this is what we got going on for tomorrow. So here's there's our system coming in. So you'll see it. So this is Friday, 8 o'clock. This is hour by hour. My day's been great. It was so nice out today. It's kind of our last real nice weather, I think, before we get into some storms. So so this is going to be this is going to be something. So Friday, 8 o'clock is when the moisture starts coming into the island. So you can see here by noon, so noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we have lots of rain coming onto the west coast. I'm just going to zoom that in so we can see it a little better. Lots of rain coming in on the west coast by noon. Starting in Port Alberni, there we are, right in the middle. By noon, so it should be raining by noon. Looks okay on the east coast. They're going to be in a rain shadow for most of it, so they're not going to get too much rain. But Vancouver and the Fraser Valley will start up by then, and you can see here, you can see the wind coming in as well. So definitely plenty of rain. You can see it starts up here on the north end of the island, and then it's going to come down gradually into Friday night. So this is 9 o'clock. You can see how it sort of comes down. It clears up a little right on the tip of the island, and then it starts to really pick up at night down here in the Alberni Valley and in the Cowichan Valley. So um, the biggest thing that we're looking at is this stream of moisture coming in. So you can see it's pointed straight at Tofino, Ucluelet, up into Barkley Sound. There is a bit of a rain shadow here in Alberni, so it might not be too bad overnight into Saturday. It does look like it's pretty focused on the Cowichan Valley just below. You can see, it's right on the west coast, right on Tofino. They're going to get a ton of rain. It's going to be 100, 200 millimeters most likely. But you can see even the north end of the island is not going to get a whole lot of that first push. It's going to be really focused on the west coast, on Port Renfrew, Bamfield, Tofino, Ucluelet, and into the Alberni Inlet. It'll be interesting to see how much we get in the Alberni Valley. We're kind of right on the edge, so it's going to be hard to predict, I think. This is getting into Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Saturday morning. You can see it's really starting to fill in. That looks like the heaviest rain. You can see it's filling in on the Vancouver side as well, on the Sunshine Coast. Hey, Shari. Definitely getting lots of rain, tons and tons. So coming down the island, going to be around noon, is probably when it's going to start to lighten up in port, and it should shift just to the south of us by the afternoon on Saturday. We might even see um, some breaks in the clouds there on Saturday afternoon, but it is going to be raining steady in the Cowichan Valley. So I think that's really going to be where the flood risk is going to be. You can see all the way through Saturday into Saturday evening. We're going all the way through with rain in the Cowichan Valley. There's a little bit that sort of sneaks into the Alberni Valley and the Mid Island region, a little bit into Nanaimo, but really it's just on the edges going into Saturday night. So I'm just going to back it up again here. We'll start again at Friday just so you can see kind of where we are. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is great. So this is what it's going to look like. So this is Friday morning, um, really starting to come into the island. Strong southeasterly winds on the west coast for sure. There are wind warnings for the west coast and the east coast of the island, and there's plenty of rain warnings as well. So you can see by Friday 10 a.m. It really comes through and hits the North Island first. The Gold River area especially is going to be very wet, but it's going to quickly shift down the island. So by Friday, just around noon, is when we'll start to see most of the rain start in Port Alberni and Bowser. A little bit in Cowichan Valley, lots and lots on the west coast. So it's going to be super wet starting early on Friday on the west coast. And then it starts to shift down by Friday evening and really focus in on the West Coast and on Port Alberni. So I would say Port Alberni will get the most rain probably in the evening and overnight on Friday. That's what I would expect. It's just going to be coming down in buckets on the West Coast for sure through Friday night. Probably strong winds as well. You can see those winds have shifted to southwest. So that'll be strong on the West Coast. Might not be so strong in Port Alberni. We usually get southeasterlies. We don't usually get southwesterlies. We usually get the southeasterly and the southerlies because that's the way the inlet points. So that's what we usually get in here. But lots of rain coming in for Saturday morning. It picks up again. Again, tons into the West Coast, and really picking up in the Cowichan Valley, and that's going to be where the concern is. So you can see those big totals here, bright colors in the Cowichan Valley and on the Port Renfrew side, and then by Saturday afternoon, it's going to start to lighten up on the north side and Central Island. It should stop raining by about 2 o'clock in Port Alberni, but it's going to continue in the Cowichan Valley. So once we get past Saturday, so I'm just going to go through Saturday night. This is Saturday night. It kind of comes back through a little bit. It goes back up the island. You can see there's a whole bunch of moisture here. The atmospheric river really comes back for kind of a second wave on Saturday night. And then we get back into it on Sunday. So Sunday morning, um, again, most of the island up to about Gold River will have rain, including Port Alberni. And the strongest rain again is going to be into the Cowichan Valley. So I think we could see some flooding down in the Cowichan Valley for sure. So by about noon on Sunday, it looks like things should start to clear out for the entire island. So you can see that moving off on Sunday afternoon and including the Fraser Valley. So that's what we're looking at as far as timelines. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it's voting day on Saturday, and people are probably going to be like, "Oh my God, I don't want to go vote. It's going to be gross." So I would say to that, vote afternoon. It'll be nice and should stop raining by about noon. So you got a whole 8 hours. So there you go. Noon to 8. Go vote. But there you go. So lots of rain. So let me just back up here a bit, and if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat, and I'll see what I can get to. So let's go do that. So I'm going to go back here. Ba-do-ba-do. Go. Bum, bum, bum. So totals, and this is going to be in inches because this is a University of Washington thing. So actually, let me grab the other one. Let me do that one. I think should be better. That's better. There we go. So, and I'm going to use my little scale here. If you look on my posts, usually on one posts, I'll always put the scale because it has the inches by default on the bottom here, and I stuck millimeters on top. So 1 inch is 25 millimeters, 2 inches is 50 millimeters. So it's easy to remember that way. But even while I say it's easy to remember, I never remember. So there you go. So there we go. So totals you're looking at on the West Coast. This is 24 hours. So between 5 a.m. on Friday and 5 a.m. on Saturday, we're looking at we're looking at what, 7.5 to 10 inches on the west coast. That is 7.5. That's 191 to 254. Yeah. So millimeters. So that's about what Environment Canada has been saying, and that's what this model says as well. So they use different models, so it's good. It's good when things agree. Um, so yeah, you can bet on that. Those yellow areas, that's going to be around 200 millimeters. So on the west coast, into the mountains on the west coast, Sutton Pass, all of that, that's going to be where the heaviest rainfall totals are going to be. So we're looking at 200 millimeters plus, I would think, because that's bright yellow. So you're looking at over 10 inches, which is over 250 millimeters. So that's a lot. So Alberni Valley, we're looking at the purple one here. Let me go find that. Purple is 3844, so probably around 40 to 50 millimeters, I would think. It's probably going to be what we're looking at. Um, Lake Cowichan, so the town of Lake Cowichan, it has it at about 50, same as Port Alberni. But Yubu, you're getting into the yellowish areas there. So there could be, I would go on the cautious side and go on the high side for Cowichan Lake for sure. So Lake Cowichan is in this purple area, but Yubu at the other end of the lake is at the 100 to 150. So that's not a big distance for there to be that much difference. So I would definitely go on the high side in Cowichan Valley and say, they're probably going to be looking at 100, 150 millimeters of rain in Lake Cowichan. Duncan, on the other end, the east side of the island is not going to get a huge amount. They're in the rain shadow. So Parksville, Ladysmith, Duncan, Victoria, they're all pretty much in a rain shadow. So they should be quite a bit less, probably only around 20, 30 millimeters. That's why you're seeing the rainfall warning just for the inland areas of Vancouver Island. So Port Alberni, Gold River, and Lake Cowichan, and then the west coast is going to be where most of it hits. So that's what we're looking for. Good. So that's what we can expect, at least for rain. I want to just see if it's on the radar yet. So let me see if we go back to the website here, just bring up the satellite. Well, let's go look at the satellite, see if it's on the satellite yet. Yeah, so there it is. That's going to be what we're dealing with. It's up in Haida Gwaii right now. It should start to slip down the coast towards Vancouver Island in the next few hours here. You can see there's a bit of a blob out offshore. So it is coming. I don't think there's going to be anything on the radar yet. It's probably too early, but it's always worth looking at. Yeah, it's looking pretty calm out there. So nothing out there right now. No. So that's pretty clear. So not coming in yet, but it's definitely coming. So that's good. I wanted to just look at the really wide shot here, at least on the forecast. Yeah, let's do this guy. Here we go. So now we can get a good look at what it's actually tapping into. So there's the low, or at least the front that's coming into the west coast right now, into Haida Gwaii and the central coast. But you can see how it's tapping way down into um, Central Pacific, well, not Central Pacific, but closer down towards Hawaii. Nice long stream of water vapor and moisture coming up and feeding this into Vancouver Island. So this is the afternoon on Friday. You can see it's still got that connection coming up through the whole North Pacific, and it's really starts to move in on Friday and Saturday. So yeah, really focused on the South Island. I'd be really concerned in the Cowichan Valley for sure, and we want to make sure that they're going to be okay there. So it does clear up, thankfully, for Monday, and it looks fairly clear for the start of the week next week. There's an interesting little low here that's predicted maybe on Thursday next week, but that's a week out, so that's pretty hard to really bank on. But for the most part, it should be pretty good next week once we get through the rain on the weekend. Okay, I think that's all we got for now. Um, if anyone has anything they'd like to uh, add or say in the chat, um, let me know. Um, what do we got right now? I just wanted to let you know that on the website itself, it's all updated. The data is all fixed up. I was having some tech issues on the data screen here that turned out to be a little larger in the back end. So fixed those all up today. So that's all working nicely. All of the data in the almanac is all up to date. We should start to see this barometer going down as everything up. There's our rainfall warning for Vancouver Island inland sections. So 15 to 25 on Friday, and then Friday night, heavy rain, 25 millimeters. So except 50 in Gold River. So total, that's about 50 millimeters. We're going to get a bunch more on Saturday, but I would think probably 50, maybe 75 millimeters is probably what we're going to get total for the whole weekend in Port Alberni. And yeah, I think you're going to see some pretty big numbers out the west coast, 150 to 200 millimeters for sure. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Nice short podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe, and we'll do this again another time. Okay, see you for now.